Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGenEd. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the chart behind me, which is of Rocket Lab, ticker symbol RKLB, which closed yesterday on April 9th at a price of $28.59, being up nearly 20% on the day. But it looks like it's pulling back a little bit in the pre-market by a little less than 4%, trading around or sub $20 a share. So we'll look over at that 10-minute time frame in just a minute. Actually, let's do that right now. So 10-minute time frame in the trading of yesterday on the 9th, waiting for that Terra news before Rocket Lab launched up, hitting a high yesterday on the 9th of $21.39, holding the majority of those gains into the after hours before gapping down a little bit into the pre-market. We'll have to see where it opens up at, but I think that the chart is looking really good. And with that being said, I wanted to go over some levels that I have drawn up here, and the one that really stands out to me that I'm pretty excited about, I suspect that you guys are too, is that there was this gap formed here on earnings day on November 12th, closed on the day at a price of 1466, leaving this gap here as it did gap up after that after hours earnings call. But if we do look over at the price over here, 1466, what was the low from a couple of days ago? The low was actually 1471, so didn't fill that gap. But I think that there's a lot of very interesting psychology around gaps and gap fills. Maybe this is just me pulling it out of my behind, but if I am a retail trader, let's say, and I see this gap, I didn't get on board at earnings, and I see all of this price action up here, I say, man, I wish that I would have gotten on board, but I'm going to be disciplined. I am going to wait for that gap to be filled at 1466. We dip down on, let's see, Monday the 7th to that low of 1471. I'm going to be disciplined. I'm going to wait for that gap to be filled. It doesn't get filled, 5 cents away from it, and then the stock price takes off, going up from that low 40%, over 40%. And so I find that to be pretty intriguing, especially with this now over $20 a share. But in the pre-market, we are seeing it, below 20. So maybe we see a little bit of a retracement. I'll draw that in just a second, where I think there could be some dip buying opportunities before the next leg up. But I first wanted to kind of take a look at the levels that I have drawn up here. This actually, I had picked up some shares up here, not a very large position, but then it started to come lower. I'll have to look where I sold them at, I believe around here. And I could have been picking up much cheaper. I did not buy back in, even at these prices at around 20. I could be picking up at a discount. But yeah, so let's see. I did have this Fibonacci retracement here. We did start to break below those levels, breaking below that full retracement. And this was based on the low from January 14th, which is at a price of $23.42. And then I also drew the 1618 at 1729. So that would have been a very nice dip buy level. And so what I might do is just remove some of these levels here, since they did not act as anything too notable, because we did pull back to that 1618. And I'm just going to make that green because that suggests that was a really nice level to be dip buying at. So 1729, 1618. And maybe just out of curiosity, I will, let's see, add the 2618. That's not even on the chart, so I'm not going to have that up there. And then a couple other things that I have up here, which were a little bit disappointing, is this consolidation here. I was expecting or hoping this would kind of retest the parallel channel, the bottom of that parallel channel, bounce and then go up higher to around 35.56. We unfortunately did not see that, so I am going to delete that. And, I'll leave that parallel channel there. It did see a breakdown there, so that's fine. And I think that this parallel channel here might be a level to be cautious of. So I'm going to make that red. Maybe that's a level to find as resistance. And so maybe, let's see, wherever we come up to that level, that might be around 30. That might be some resistance. So do keep that in mind. And let's see. Yeah, maybe I will just put an alert here at, let's see, $30 above 30. That might be a level to trim at. So just something to consider there if this does continue to go higher. And that's about a 50% swing from where we're currently at. So pretty nice there. But if we are starting to see a pullback in the pre-market, if we do start to see a little bit of a retracement, where might this be going to? So just going from that low of 1471 to yesterday's high, which was at 2139. Let's just make sure those levels are right. So I need to adjust 0.2 to be 2139 there. And then 0.1 is also off by a penny. So kind of crazy there, 1471. And then let's just adjust those adjustments or those retracement levels, proportions. Don't need the 1618 there, but I would like to see, let's see, the 382, that potentially getting into dip buy territory. That is around 1884. Then the 50% retracement at 1805 being right around 18, psychological level, whole dollar number, makes some sense there. And then the 618, that matches up very nicely with the 1618 that I have marked in green there at 1729. The 618 here in white, that is at 1726. So those are all levels that I would think are going to be very nice dip buying opportunities. And I would have to say that I am going to adjust this alert here, not below 1542. I don't think that's happening, but I do think that 18 might be happening. So that might be a nice dip buy level. And then while I have it all up here, I might also throw up the moving averages. We do have the 50-day moving average in yellow up there at around 22. That effectively acted as resistance, not quite getting to it. Maybe we do see it act as resistance once the market opens today. So we'll have to see if we do get rejected up there before maybe we see a pullback to around 18. Maybe I'll want to adjust that to 19. And so maybe I will, add an alert at 19 in case my level at 18 doesn't get hit. So I will include that there. Above 1923, I think I can actually just delete that there. So I got those three alerts. And kind of corresponding with those levels, 19 to 18, we do have the 21-day moving average currently at 1857. So maybe that is a level to dip buy at 1857. You can see there in the pink. And then the 200-day moving average does look like that swooped in, acted as support. While we didn't get to fill that gap, we did get to the 200-day moving average, which over here was at a price of right around 1527, somewhere around there, 1536 it looks like on April 7th, but it's currently at 1550. I don't expect us to retest that. If we do pull back, the most I would think is going to be to around 17, maybe 1725 to correspond with that 618 and this 618 in green from over here. So yeah, I think that this is looking really good. And I should also note that with these bigger green moves that we saw, those were days we actually saw increases in volume. So on Friday last week, on April 4th, we saw a volume of 22.8 million shares traded. But on Monday, we saw 2394. The dip was being bought. Green engulfing candle, bullish engulfing candle there. And then on Tuesday, red day, we actually saw a decrease in volume going from 23.94 million to 19.96 million. And then again, an increase in volume on the green day up to 31.46 million. So this is just looking good there. We do have Let's see, lower lows in the stock price here, so that might seem bearish, but what we have is higher lows in the RSI. That is bullish divergence. We also see that the MACD has kind of been oscillating from red to green. Looked like it was going to pull back to red, be negative, suggesting a pullback, but it does look like, if we take a step back, that little candle there does stand out. This looks like it's blipping back up into the green. And so I think that we could be seeing some moves, potentially getting back up to 30, but I think that would potentially be the top. And that does represent a 50% swing from current price, so looking really good there. And yeah, so we'll have to come back and check in on this in a week or so. But as always, those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks a lot for watching.